I hope that you guys didn't go anywhere, and most of you could actually join back. So let me see if they have been able to join. Uh, just give me a minute because I couldn't see any notification, and let's see that if they have joined.
Wonderful.
Because there are no chats or something maybe. uh, so I think, let me see, just give me a minute because let me see if we are online or not.
How many people did you have at first? How many was it?
They were like 24, 25 people actually. They join, but I think that we are not live now. Yeah, or maybe yes. Anyways, let's join. um, because did you see any notification on your, it says
Notification.
on.
I
Yeah,
don't.
okay, that's fine. I think they're able to hear because we see the chats coming up. So I'm
Okay.
so sorry guys to actually have for this all technical problems, and we had to go back, and it happens sometimes. We cannot control everything. Sometimes the microphone doesn't work, sometimes internet has some problems, and these are the problem always comes up. So we apologize for any inconvenience, but all those that who are joining back, thank you so much. I already had given a little bit of introduction that today we're going to discuss how life has changed over these 2 years. The pandemic has actually shaken our lifestyle and
Mhm.
has completely accelerated the change of pace in our life, in professional and personal life. And that's what we're going to discuss today. And Marlene is the community CEO, and she's doing a wonderful job helping business and communities bringing together. She's creating spotlights for author and entrepreneurs, and she's doing a lot of amazing work. So, thank you so much, Marlene, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy to be here. I just want to start off by you may be wondering why. Why? What's my story behind the reason that for my passion?
Yeah.
For business protection. It is because actually there's two of them. My grandmother, who I worked with, she was a small business owner, and my family and I lived in Chicago, and my mom would send us here for vacation. Can you
Okay.
believe elementary school vacation where we ended up working with her in the business? And
Wow.
that's where I learned about relationship building. She walked throughout the community, and she shook hands. She went to funerals. She was at graduations. Everything that they had going on in the community, she was a part of. And after she built the business, my grandfather became ill, so she had to start taking more time away from the business. And then she then herself became ill. And once she was, my mom, who worked for the IRS at that particular time, we then moved here, and we had to help her take care of my grandmother. So the
Yeah.
business was then liquidated. That is why I do what I'm doing today, because
Wow.
I don't want the same thing to happen to you that's happened, in my past.
Wow, amazing. That's quite inspiring. This that was the brief introduction. So tell us a little bit about yourself. That what were you doing before that, and then of course this was something that you said that you were on the vacation, and then it came up as an opportunity. So I would just here say that, like, sometimes these things happen to
Mhm.
redirect you on the path that you are meant to actually follow. So tell us a little bit more in detail about us, that what were you doing before that, and then of course when you found, how did you actually find out that this is the passion that I really need to follow? So tell us in
Okay,
detail. Yeah.
absolutely. My degree is actually pre-law, because I was actually in law school. And
Okay.
while I was there in law school, my mother became ill, so I had to take a sabbatical. So I left, and so I could help out with my mom. She was ill at the time, and I worked with in Chancery Court for a while, writing cases along with for the Chandler, and then from there, I just again started to look more towards the more I looked at working for businesses, I saw that it just was not a good fit for me. I just have to be honest with you right now. It wasn't me, and I knew that it wasn't for me. And so I decided I would do a little something on the side. So I created a little business on the side. And then from there, I pushed myself to take a chance. And that's what we have to do in life, take chances, no matter what, whether it's an inflation going on or COVID-19. And I want to tell you today that your COVID-19, yours personally, will always face you. There'll be something facing you for the duration of your business. And you have to learn to just look at what can I do? What am I doing today that I can do differently by tomorrow? You cannot do the same thing. I'm sorry, every day. You got to look
Yeah.
at what can I do differently to keep my business informed. If something were to come up that I would have to protect my business against, what would I do differently? So always think about how you can make your business better. Always think about that.
Yeah, that's very very interesting thing that you actually said. That most of the time people develop business, and then what happens is, or they are in the job also, but they
Mhm.
get stuck in their comfort zone. They think that everything is going fine, business may be growing at that moment, and then they get into sort of like a in the relaxed state, that everything's going fine, and then they think that it's the stability of the life. But the thing is that nothing is stable, and that's what actually proved that was proven by this outburst of pandemic. Like the entire life was changed, it was upside down. We could never thought of this thing, that it could ever happen. Like all these mosques were closed, churches were closed, shopping
Mhm.
centers were closed, offices were closed. So like even when we used to just look outside, the entire street that used to be so much filled with life, and it was so hustling and bustling, but it was all empty. Everything,
Mhm.
life came to an halt at that time, and no one could ever imagine that it's gonna happen like this. But that gave us the it was an eye-opening experience for us, that tells us that anything can happen, and we should be prepared for it, rather than waiting for something that it might happen, or maybe like we just be relaxed in the state. So I think this is one, like you said it so perfectly, that we should always be ready to adapt to the change. We should always be ready to take risk in life, because without risk there's nothing. So moving on to our discussion, so in your opinion, like what were the major changes you faced or you witnessed during the pandemic, or you said that, or you may say that, what how life affected by pandemic.
But let's just start. We started off on the personal. On the
Yeah.
personal end of things, I'm sure that a lot of people can probably say, yes, Marlene, I probably faced something similar. But I don't know if you recall how we had a product shortage. You would go in and they would put limitations on how much water you could purchase, how much tissue you could buy. And I saw a family of 10 one day. I went into the grocery store and they were lined up. I saw what they did, and each one of them had two packages of the tissue, and they went home with about 20 of
Yeah.
them. Yeah, because they stood in line and they had a plan in place. And then think about school closings. And so now
Yes.
children, if you know, are online. They're having tutoring online. They're having classes online. Those are some of the changes also that a lot of us are facing, even with our children and our grandchildren,
Yeah.
because of the pandemic. Face to face, which is where I've always made,
Yeah.
that was always a part of my business when I was, when I was actually working. as a securities, the securities environment. I was out a lot around my office, walking and meeting customers and sitting on porches and drinking lemonade and just getting to know them. And I really grew, my business grew from there because people would actually come to my office after I would go out within the community. And now you don't see that being done. It's on social media sites.
Yeah.
Social media, you develop relationship. You're not there to sell. Selling is, everybody knows that you got to make an income in the business, but that's not what it's about. It's quality content that you're delivering, when you're on social media.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's, you rightly pointed out that this the actually the importance of like social media or being online or the online platforms emerged during the pandemic. Like we see a lot of sites that came up for online delivering products or providing the services through online platforms. So this is something that was a major change that we observed. The other thing, as you said, that like even the kids were given tuition, or the school was through online platforms. So like the life was completely changed. So now
Exactly.
coming to the business life, and since you help a lot of businesses, so what do you think that how the businesses have evolved during pandemic? What were the changes that you witnessed that has taken place in the business due to the pandemic?
Well, I'd like to start first with the three areas within my business that are included, and that is spotlighting expertise. And I help businesses by spotlighting and allowing them to reach out and give a long distance handshake, because you can't just look at your local communities anymore. You got to look at how can I introduce myself to globally. So that's what I'm doing right now, spotlighting, and that's what I was going to say to you today. Look at ways to market your business where you can get to know and formalize the relationships. And the second area that I do is valuable content. Put content out on social media. Let people know what it is that you're doing, of course, but teach them and answer their questions and give them quality so that they can implement some of the strategies into their businesses. Help them with quality content. And the third thing that I do is protection. I show you how to protect the business from unexpected challenges. And when I say protection, who are we protecting? Family, employees, customers, the community, and also your assets. That's what I do within the business. And I was going to tell you, that's what would be some good things for you to start doing as well. First of all, like I was saying, when you get out, spotlight yourself. For instance, if you are not a podcaster, go and interview with someone who's podcasting. Get also guest blogging. If you're a
Yeah.
blogger, go and guest blog. With someone else. Collaboration. Collaborate in peer meetings where you can test the waters. Let them give you feedback and you give them feedback as to
Yeah.
how your business is performing. So those are some ways you can actually, like I said, spotlight. And then the second one with the content, again, within your communities, just you can write articles, again, write blogs, but always try to give quality content. Protection. Protect your family with estate planning. Always make sure you have the proper life insurance in place, whatever it takes, so you can protect your family with estate planning.
Yeah.
Protect your employees, because if you recall, the Great Resignation, the Great Quit, has been big since 2021. And what you need to do with our employees is to make them inclusive, listen, diversify, and also help them to allow them to participate and be a part of the business for the employees and for the community. There are nonprofits and charitable events that are occurring within your community. When customers view that you are participating in the community, it makes you highly reputable.
Yeah, yeah,
Take
very
the
true, actually.
time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, this is very like highly I would say that really informative, and like the insightful advice or tips that you have given, that basically the communities that used to be to work prior to pandemic was yet basically the more physical interaction. We used to
Mhm.
go out, meet with people, and expand business in a, like, through physical interaction. But now it has changed quite a lot, or I would say that it was the pace of change actually accelerated due to pandemic. There used to be, like, the business used to be done, of course, globally through LinkedIn and through social media, but the importance of doing business through such sites and building like global connection, like the way we are now connected. Like, you are thousands of miles away from me, and like I'm in the Middle East, you are in the US, yet we are connected. We are like we have we've chatted a couple of times. So that's the beauty, I would say, of this community. Like, the global community has
Mhm.
shrunk, and like all of us are more closer. But again, as you highlighted very rightly, that we need to focus on adding value by creating meaningful relationship, by adding
Mhm.
value through content, quality content. Like, whatever you want to say, you need to tell the audience that basically who you are. Because, like, if we look back in the, let's say, earlier days, there used to be like the interaction. We used to go and meet with people and introduce ourselves. But now the importance of content has become
Mhm.
so much important these days, that people know you through your content, that what
Mhm.
exactly who you are,
Mhm.
what are you
Mhm.
offering, or what is something. So I completely agree with you that these
Mhm.
are the changes that world has actually changed. And those who are actually not able to adopt to these changes, they gonna be left behind. So
Oh,
this is
well,
that this is exactly that. I'm sure that you're doing at the moment. Like, you also, like, as you said, that you're spotlighting people. You're
mhm.
also bringing on the people on different platforms in the highlights. So in the spotlight, so people recognize you and people recognize them, and you create a community. So that's the wonderful thing that you're doing, and a lot of people are actually getting benefit out of it. So
Here. Mhm. And Brina, I wanted to ask you something. You said in your book that everything is predestined, correct?
yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, when you and you and I talked about this during our spotlight time together. But when
Yeah,
you looking at what we're discussing today, the change, if you have the choice to make a change, you mentioned the railroad track and going from one track to another. And if you could please just elaborate on that today, because I think that is a really good point within your book about you have
yeah,
the choice to make that
yeah.
change.
Yeah, that's actually a brilliant point, and thank you for actually forcing me to talk about it. And the thing is, a lot of people actually get depressed because they think that they don't have a choice in their hand. And as the thing is that we have a very small window of taking that charge, or having that choice in our hand. Because
Mhm.
as you said also, that everything is predestined. The thing is, if you look at the world, if you look at the nature in a way, that it is, everything is the way it is meant to happen. Like, if you just look at nature, you see sun comes out every day on the same time, for like it's been happening since like 14 billion years. And
Mhm.
you cannot, I mean, it has never been delayed or early, like a second. So with all these things indicate that everything is programmed so well, everything is orchestrated so well. So that also give us a little bit of hopelessness, that we might not have choice. And because we are also part of the program, we are this. But the thing is, here my advice is that yes, we do have some power to choose our destiny, that we can change the role that we have been given. We might, like, all the roles are there in the world, that there will be a role of the Elon Musk, there will be a role of a loser, there will be a role of a mediocre businessman and the entrepreneur. We will choose where we want to be, and that thing starts from realizing your purpose. For example, pandemic was meant to happen, pandemic happened,
Hmm.
a lot of people lost their life, right? But
Hmm.
or a lot of people lost their jobs, but you see a lot of people also flourished during that period. A lot of people actually grew their business phenomenally, and those were the people who did not give in and who did not delve in negative thinking. They remain in power. They deny that, they refuse to accept that, that they will lose everything. They said, no, we are in charge and we can actually bring change in our life no matter what happens. So they can control their inner self, they can control their thoughts, and that's how they actually grew, even those difficult or in those adverse times. So here is the main thing that I would say, the only thing they have in control is their thoughts. When you
Hmm.
can actually bring about the change in life, it's only
Hmm.
through your thoughts. When you actually realize it, that that you think anything, or maybe like, if you when you realize your purpose, you attract all those things in your life, right? Whatever you thought, we keep on thinking, you tie in with the burning desire to achieve those goals, and that's how it happens. And that will happen, that whatever your purpose is, when you have the burning desire, it will manifest in your life. So that's like the brief, I would say, the summary of what I had written in the book, The Algorithm of Life. That no matter what, things are maybe predestined, but you have the power to choose your role and be in charge of your destiny.
Excellent. What Will said, and I don't know if you noticed that a lot of the spotlights that I've been doing over the past 6 months have been on mental health, and you're not talked about that mental health because when you look at what's happening to us, personal as well as in business,
Yeah.
people are struggling with mental health, and that's one thing that and burnout, depression,
It,
suicide, it's there, and those are things we have to confront and we have to deal with.
Absolutely. And actually, that all these depression and hopelessness is
Hmm.
stem from when they realize that they don't have the power to control their lives, because they think that these things will remain the same. Those, like, people who have suicidal thoughts, or those who are in depression, they are in that state because they think that life will never change, and that's why they keep on actually sinking deeper and deeper in that state, and they are unable to come out, because they think that it's not going to change. But the reality is, when you start changing your thought, the things outside will change, and then you will feel it. And I have witnessed it myself, that the way I used to feel during, like, early days when I used to be depressed, things were like, these everything is in our head. The way we perceive things shapes our reality. If we see
Hmm.
that things are all bad, and it's never going
Hmm.
to be never going to get better, then things will never going to get better. But when we see things that, okay, things are going to get better, and when then we'll start seeing opportunities, then we'll see that, yes, we may change our
Hmm.
circumstances, we may change the things around us. So it all depends that how we perceive.
And it does, because when you think back also to the Black Death, which happened over in Europe, and you think about the Great Depression, and that was in the United States. Both of those horrendous episodes also had unemployment. The Black Death, I mean, there were like 25 million that died in 4 years from the Black Death. I'm a historian, okay? I love history.
Yeah, sure.
And so they died. And you're right. When you find these types of catastrophes that occur, some people still tend to move forward in that particular period because they see how they can maybe help the community, or maybe there's a business that has not performing as well, and they take over that particular business. But I'm just saying, and the Great Depression, same thing, unemployment, just like we have right now with with COVID. One of the things that we're encountering, and it is people out here unemployed. But the tables changed, didn't it? Because at first it was always the the businesses that were the ones looking for individuals. They were the ones who decided who would be hired. They were the ones who had the total control. Now, employees are deciding, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm
Yeah.
quitting. If you look all over YouTube, you'll see, I quit, I quit, I quit, you quit, he quit. That's all you see is quit, 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 quit. And it is hurting business owners. They're losing quality people because they're not doing things such as succession planning. Succession planning can help you, whether it's an inflationary period, whether it's COVID-19 period, whether all of that's happening. If you continue to train your employees, let them feel a part of the business, help them to progress within the business. And if somebody's on vacation, if somebody's sick, let them test the waters. Get them
Yeah.
out there and start letting them grow. That is what will help you during any type of setback. Succession planning. And I deal with exit strategies. And all exit is knowing when to exit a
Yeah.
current
Yeah.
plan and move to something brand new. You've got to exit, ladies and gentlemen. You can't just consistently do the same thing over and over again. There's got to be an exit plan in place. That's what I've done for the past 20 years, exit
Yeah.
planning for
Wow.
businesses.
Wow, that's that like you're doing I think a great good thing. There was a very great comment here that thoughts and thoughts. I've always mentor my people that thoughts are the one no are the one in our change, and we can change. Our brains are like a can of goods, but because we are the one to open the can, we are afraid to take that can opener and open all those opportunities. I think she said it very brilliantly. I think there was some more to it, and it didn't show in the in when I just put it here. It didn't show, but in when we look at here, it said that the can open all those opportunity. Then we keep it in our mind only. Yeah, I think that is. She rightly pointed out that we get afraid to actually look at the opportunities and open it. And as you said, that is since you've been doing all the exit strategies and everything, because the thing is that we need to be prepared. The only thing is that in order to embrace such high level of change, that we need to be prepared, we need to be receptive, and we don't need to get afraid, or let's say or resist the change, because the more we resist the change, only gonna hurt us. The change will be happening, and but we will be left behind. So the one thing that I actually took out from your discussion is that we need to be ready to adopt all these changes. And as you said, that exit strategies or the succession plan,
Mhm.
people actually want to know that, that how they're going to survive even after that. After,
Mhm.
if that's going to happen, what they're going to do it. They need to see the what is their future will be like. So
Mhm.
that's
And then, after getting into the business, uh, I was struck with pneumonia
oh my god.
and pleurisy. I was out of the business for 6 weeks.
Oh,
Can you imagine what happened to my business in 6 weeks?
oh, yeah.
In 6 weeks. And I mean, if you've ever had pleurisy, you know how painful it is. I can still feels like somebody taking a huge fork and just sticking it into your side. I mean, it's painful. And then I had a 3-year-old daughter at the time. I was a single parent, had just gotten actually through a divorce and had a child that was dealing with this. My mother, thank God for her, was there for us. But when I returned back there were a few that were still, there was a few customers, loyal customers who hung
Mhm.
around. for me, who were calling to check on me. Then there was some who left because they felt this way. And I want to say this to you today, solopreneurs, that solopreneurs, you need peers, you need teamwork, you need to be connecting with somebody, some group, so that something does happen within your business. You have a plan in place so that you won't lose your customers and you
Yeah.
won't you want to remain reputable. So after that, and I came back, I lost quite a bit of business. And so that's why, like you said, being comfortable is what I was doing at that point. I don't want you experience what I experienced by being comfortable. So that's
Yeah.
why I was saying that you start looking around. Look at, for instance, if you see some of the pointers that I'm making, or you're looking at what I'm doing, you could take what I'm doing and put your own mindset to it. You don't
Yeah.
have to just take what somebody else is doing and just run with it. Take it, think about it, dream about it, write about it, journal about it, and you will find out what's best for you, for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. This is wonderful advice. I know that this is the topic that we can keep talking about for long hours, but the time of our show is now ending. So, before we actually close the show, what one advice would you give to our audience today?
I would say number one, think about what you're doing today. What are you doing today? How long have you, with this strategy that you're using for the business, how long have you been using it? And does it deserve to be reinforced? You think about it. Think what you're doing, and that maybe if you want to even check out, I'm a walk talk with Marlene and on YouTube. So I'm always on there. You're having discussions, and I have interviews with businesses, and the business owners will tell you what they're doing in their business. Take it and reinforce it and make it something. Make it your own. That's what I want to say to you today. Each and every day, or even weekly, think of, what I do every day. I write down something new that I learn every day, because I'm always learning something new every day. Write it down, and before you know it, it will blossom into something incredible that you never even thought of before.
Yeah.
So, keep looking, and you'll find something new for your business.
Wow, that's an amazing advice. This, and that is how we actually keep our mind and like eyes open to spot out the opportunities. Because that sometimes I was reading one post today, and it really struck me that most of the time we are so focused on our business or anything that we lose the opportunities. And that's what exactly you said, that we need to be focused, yet we need to keep our eyes open or be receptive to these opportunities, so not to miss all these things. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights today. I'm sure our audience have learned a lot, or actually I've learned a lot from you as well. So thank you so much.
I'm honored to hear that.
Thank you. So, tell our audience that how they can reach out to you. Is there any best way? Like, I know you're very active on LinkedIn. Is there any other way? Like, you have any email address, or maybe you have some
Okay.
website? So,
Yes, I was going to say that I'm very active on YouTube. YouTube,
okay.
yeah, for the
And
it's Walk Talk with
walk.
Marlene.
Okay.
Walk Talk with Marlene, and also reach out to me on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, it's Marlene Foster. And if you really would like to consider taking a shot and go ahead and being interviewed, contact me. And the interviews are complimentary, spotlight complimentary. So come and talk with me, and let's see how they can benefit you.
Awesome. After this show, you actually make sure that you share your walk and talk with Marley, the link in the chat, in the comment section. So all the like audience who are here today, or even who will be joining us or seeing the recording, they will get the link in the
Okay,
comments. So
okay,
that would be a good idea. So,
I'll do
and
that.
thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. It was such a wonderful conversation, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm sure our audience have enjoyed it as well.
And thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. So thank you so much, and bye bye.
Goodbye.